Hello everyone. Today we are going to review the movie Jungle Cruise. Now I did go see this last night, but I didn't want to record a review for it, just because my parents had a long trip taking my sister up north to go work for a couple months, so I just wanted to be quiet when I came home, and I was super tired anyway because I've been up for quite some time. I didn't get very much sleep on Saturday. And today's Sunday, which I also didn't get very much sleep for, but I did want to try something new, so I actually grabbed one of my plaid shirts out of the closet. Like I have a closet down here where I live, off my I guess kind of like shirt rack that I have set up for myself down here. So yeah, I don't know. It's been a while since I've actually worn like a button-up shirt because yeah, I'm not really a huge dress-up person, but I thought maybe it would make myself look a little bit more presentable for the channel. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments down below whether you like this look better, just t-shirt look kind of thing. I mean, I might not be doing this all the time, but I thought maybe for this video it was kind of felt fitting just because of the time period of this video where they're all dressed up. I guess maybe that's why I was kind of feeling like putting on a little bit dressier of a shirt. And I think I might wear this out tonight when I go see Snake Eyes too. I actually really like these colors. Forgot I even had some of these ones because, you know, that's how little I actually dress up. So, but anyhow, yeah, I went to see this last night because it was one of those movies that I really, yeah, like I've been waiting for this movie for quite some time. And I seen Dwayne Johnson's post last night on his Instagram page saying that this movie had been like in the works since 2018. And I don't know if I'd known about it for quite that long, but I'd definitely known about it for probably about a better part of 2 years, I would say, since about 2019. I've been kind of looking forward to what this was going to bring to the table as far as Disney movies went, because I believe it was a Disney movie, was it not? Yep, it was. And it is actually based on a theme park ride, not storybook or anything else. It's just based on a theme park ride. So I think they did a really, really good job of bringing the theme park ride to life. Now, I did go see this in 3D, and most movies, I would say, the 3D hasn't really blown me away too much. But in this movie, I would say the 3D was actually worth the extra little bit of money that you have to pay for it, although I did use my scene points to get a free movie, so I can't really say that I paid for it, but if you have a scene card, I would say this would be a good one to use that on, like use your points on, or even just paying the extra like $3 to go see it in 3D would be totally worth it, I would say, if you don't have a scene point card. And I wouldn't be saying that if I thought the 3D was crappy, but a lot of it was really good. There was one scene where there's like a tree branch coming out of the screen, and it looked like the tree branch was literally like right beside you. Like it felt like you were actually immersed in the movie in certain points. So the story starts out, we're following the so it's about this doctor who's trying to create who's creating different and various medicines, but her brother, I believe it is her brother anyway. Yes. I believe it was her brother, yeah. So we have Lily Houghton and McGregor Houghton. And so you would think that it would be the other way around, where the woman would be caring about her appearance more in that time period, and the guy would be a little bit more carefree, not really too worried about his appearance, but it was actually McGregor who was way more worried about his luggage being carried onto the boat in certain scenes, and his day wear, his night wear, his dinner wear. Like, he was super specific about everything he had to choose, super picky, and she was definitely defying the odds for that time period, because I believe this was in I want to say, was it 1918? Or 1919. It was sometime during the First World War. I know that much. So she is after this like medicine that she has heard in these legends called Tears of the Moon. Sorry, I'm just going to exit this before that plays, because I'm currently editing some other videos. So she is looking for this modern medicine that's in all these legends. She has a map of the Amazon jungle, and it follows the river, and she's trying to find this ancient tree that has these blossoms on it, and if the petals can actually cure any disease, sickness, wound, or otherwise that you have. So yeah, that's what she's after. So, and also I guess you have to have the arrowhead in order to unlock the power of the tree. So she ends up stealing that from the German guy, whose name was, Prince Shakim, I believe, was how you pronounced it. So he clearly wants the power of the petals for different reasons, because he believes that it'll help the Germans win the war. So, yeah, this movie does get pretty intense in certain parts. So she's able to get the arrow, and obviously now the Germans are going to be tracking her down because she has what they want, and they know that they need in order to, I believe, probably create super soldiers and possibly even better weaponry is their kind of idea of what they want to do with the petals. So obviously for evil, and she is trying to use it for good to make modern medicine of that era the best it can be, right? So when she goes over to the Amazon jungle, she's looking for this guy named Nilo, who is played by Paul Giamatti. And Jesse Plemons is the guy who plays Prince Shakim. Jack Whitehall plays McGregor. Emily Blunt plays Lily. And so she thinks she's found Nilo. Turns out she's actually found a different skipper called Frank Wolf, who was played by Dwayne Johnson. And I love Dwayne Johnson as an actor. I've never been disappointed with any role he's been in. Some of them have been a bit lackluster, but I mean, that was early on in his career. He's been acting for so long now. He's just mastered that craft, and anybody who says he's bad at acting, I mean, the dude's been acting his whole life. He's had a illustrious career in the WWE, where he acted for so long, and I know I say that probably in a lot of my Dwayne Johnson reviews, I think, just because, you know, I don't think people really give him enough credit for where he came from to where he is now. And he's still got quite a few years left, because he is only 40. He's only 48 years old, so he's got some time left in him to do like a crap ton of movies still. And I know he's got a lot of upcoming projects. So when she finds him, she negotiates a price with him, thinking that he's Nilo. Turns out he's not. But she does decide to go with him to take her up the river, because he says that he's the only one who can actually get her up there, because obviously he does the jungle cruises, right? So he knows where to go and how to get there and the safest way to get there, even though they definitely do not take the safest route to get to where they are going. And I wish I could remember the name of the place on the map that they were trying to get to. But yeah, so they end up, the place that they have to go to ends up being where the fangs bite the tail. That was a clue, and I actually wrote down a couple notes here so that I would have. Yes, so the original people at the beginning of the film who were trying to find the Tears of the Moon were actually Spanish conquistadors, I believe is how you pronounce it. And they were led by a man named... Oh, really? It closed it on me? Or did I do that by accident? Okay, let's just pull that back up. Come on, load. Internet's so slow here. Okay. There we go. Loading. They were led by a man named Aguilar. I believe that was how you pronounce his name. So, I guess Aguiar, as we go through the movie, we find out how old Frank actually is and his real name. So it turns out he's actually hundreds of years old, and Aguiar was actually his brother, and I believe the study of maps is cartography, right? If I'm not mistaken. So he was a cartographist. He drew out all the maps because at one point Lily finds his maps in his room on his boat. And she goes, "What are all these about?" And he said, "Yes, I was looking for it a very long time ago, but I haven't looked for it for so long." And he goes, "Because I just didn't have the parts that I needed, right? Now she has the arrowhead. That's why he decided to help her." And his trusty sidekick is actually I believe it's a leopard this point around. And I guess over the years he's just kind of taken in stray cats that needed help, and he's named them all the same name. What was the name of the cat? God damn it. And I guess that's not really super vital to the story, is it? So anyhow, Aguiar and him fought for years over the fact that they weren't able to get the arrowhead, and I guess the tribe put a curse on them to keep them close to the river so that they couldn't go far enough inland to actually retrieve it. So obviously him and Aguiar fought, and he said once he was tired of being stabbed, he led them to a part of the forest and threw them into a hole, and then it cursed them, trying to drag them back to the river, and ended up turning them into stone because from where they were, they couldn't actually get dragged back close enough to the river to survive. So when they do actually find the location of the Tears of the Moon, Lily almost drowns because she doesn't know how to swim, but Frank does take her underwater, and she has to be the one to pull the lever, right, because Frank can't fit into the little box that has the lever in it. He couldn't reach it. So Frank gets attacked by piranhas, and at this point we know that he actually can't die, because at one point he is actually stabbed by Aguiar and it looks like he's dead, and then Lily finds him the next morning and he's still alive, and she has to pull the sword out of him. So yeah, that was kind of a funny scene when you finally find out that he's actually cursed, I guess. Kind of very similar to now these guys that were cursed, Aguiar and his group of conquistadors, really reminded me actually of Davy Jones and the curse that they had in the second Pirates of the Caribbean movie. It was very, very similar animation to that, which I thought was very cool because, yeah, it kind of was very reminiscent to that as well. So it really brought back kind of like a nostalgic feeling to me, because, yeah, that was in this second one, wasn't it? I think the curse was in the second one, that curse anyway. Oh yeah, so it kind of had that same feeling, which was very cool to be immersed in that world again, or at least kind of have that feeling. It kind of felt the same, but like a jungle setting, which was really awesome. I thought anyway. Yeah, so they end up meeting, and one of Frank's things, yeah, so she has to pull a sword out of him. That's where I was going with that. And the curse guys were really cool, the design of them. Anyhow, what was I just about to say? So yeah, one of Frank's things is that he tries to make Lily want to turn back constantly. So they go down the rapids. They almost go off a waterfall at one point in the boat, but the boat was able to survive. And I didn't think it was going to. I thought they were definitely going to go over the waterfall, because I thought I seen that in the trailer, but maybe they just took that scene out to make it look a lot more, or maybe they were making you think that they were going to go over the waterfall to make it seem really intense. I mean, that scene did make me hold my breath, because I was like, oh my god, what's going to happen if they go over and the boat's no longer there? And another one of the cooler scenes was when the U-boat first popped up with Prince Joachim in it, and he tries to blast them away, and they end up blowing up half of the docking bay and also destroying all of Nilo's boats. So now he has 0 boats. So that was kind of a throwback, kind of a laugh in the face for Frank was able to laugh in the face of Nilo after that one for sure, because yeah, Nilo gave him a very hard time about how much money he owed him and took the engine out of his boat, because I guess Nilo gave him the engine to his boat, so he had to steal it back and get away from not only Nilo but also the Germans now, and the other people that are obviously after Lily for the arrowhead. So yeah, Prince Joachim makes a deal with Aguiar and his men to help him get the arrowhead, and obviously get it to the tree in order to bring the tree back to life and get the petals, right? Because that's their main purpose. So Frank, as the movie goes on, says that he's finally decided that he has come to peace with his life. He's lived a long enough life. He's ready to go on into the afterlife, basically. And so he does trick his brother into following him with the petal, and then they are cursed again, and they end up against the wall, and all of them get frozen into stone. And the cool thing was about like trying to find the clues in order to find their location where the fangs bite the tail. The whole that part of the Amazon River actually looked like a snake, so it was like a huge like cutout area, almost kind of like reminiscent of Niagara Falls if you've ever been there. And yeah, it kind of looked like that a little bit. And then like the body of the snake was the rest of the Amazon River, so that was really cool. So yeah, one of the clues was to turn water into stone. So when they pulled the lever, the whole the water started to like drop down, right? And then all of a sudden the U-boat appears up, and the Germans take them in, and they find out that actually the arrowhead is because they remember a clue, but you can't mend a broken heart, so they break the arrowhead in half, and then there's a little like diamond in it or something that they put inside the arrowhead on the little guy inside the I don't know what it was, whether it was like it was underneath, it must have been part of the tree maybe, or at least the thing that started the tree to blossom anyhow, because they had to do it during a certain moon, which was what one of the tribal girls had told them. Or I guess native girls had told them, native to that land anyway. So yeah, so that's when they did it, was during that moon, and then they put the arrowhead back together and put the arrowhead in the spot it's supposed to be in, and then the tree comes to life. They are only able to get one single petal. So when Frank tricks his brother Aguiar into following him, he has to fight them all off, and he's going to crash the boat, which he is successful in, and he gets Lily and obviously McGregor off the boat first, and his cat as well, and then crashes the boat, and then they go in and all get sucked up against the wall and turned into stone. So Lily, who has basically at this point fallen in love with Frank because she wants him to be able to live out the rest of his life and see the actual real world, and she knows that with the petal, I guess she could break the curse, right? So she puts the petal up to his lips after he's turned to stone, and the rock kind of cracks a little bit, but then that's all that happens. And then the cat sits there for a few seconds, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess that's the end of the movie. There's not going to be any more to it. And then all of a sudden you hear the cat start to cry, and Frank breaks out of the rock. So you know that the petal has what the power of the petal holds, or how much power the petal holds is what I'm trying to say. So then she teaches him how to drive at the end of the movie. That was a really funny scene. But I will say the special effects in this movie were absolutely great. There were a lot of Disney is getting. I can't really say they're getting dark because, yeah, like even Pirates of the Caribbean was a super dark series with a lot of horror elements in it. But I would say this one was probably even a little bit darker than that with some of the scenes. Just the one guy was made of like bees, and I guess it's because the jungle just kind of like deteriorated their bodies over the years and made them into these creatures. One guy was made of all snakes, and the way that the Prince Jakim brought Aguilar back to life was by putting river water on him, and that was the first thing that scared me, because I wasn't sure what to expect, because you're thinking that, like, you're thinking the face is going to come to life and pop out at him, and then all of a sudden it's just two snakes, and then it zooms back in again, and it's just a whole bunch of snakes coming out at you. Now, I have no fear of snakes, but that made me jump every time. Some scenes that shouldn't have even made me jump because I just was like sometimes so on edge about certain things that I wasn't sure what was going to happen when. You know, when you like get all tensed up and you're like, oh, this is going to happen, and then something else happens and you're like, ah, like it just really makes you jump. So yeah, but yeah, I didn't mind that. Like, I like certain movies that are unpredictable in what is going to happen. So. And I was never really sure how this movie was ever going to play out, so I'm glad that, yeah, I'm glad that it was an unpredictable movie, because sometimes I kind of can sense what is going to happen. Now, obviously, the love aspect, I kind of figured that was going to happen, because you kind of sense a little bit of it as the movie went on, and I think it was more, I don't really want to say she felt bad for him, because she didn't. I think she just she loved him because, I guess, of really who he was, and I guess he did kind of save her life in a couple of different ways too, for sure. And I guess she just wanted him to experience the world. So I guess I kind of fell in love for those reasons, not necessarily because she had felt pity for him, because I don't think she felt pity for him. She was very upset with him at certain points of the movie, for sure. Just because of all the shenanigans he tried to pull to make her turn back. But yeah, I would give this movie a 10 out of 10. It was absolutely excellent. I highly recommend going to see it in theaters. I think it is actually on Disney Plus on early access too. Even though it's not an early access anymore, but it is just, it is another way to see the film at home if you want to. So if you're not a big movie theater fan. But yeah, 10 out of 10 for this movie is what I would give it. I would say that I've covered pretty much everything I can. 3D effects were awesome, especially the scenes where the guy was able to like throw the snakes out of certain parts of his body and stuff. He was basically all made of snakes, because in certain parts you could see like the snake travel across his face, like the inside of his face, like his skin was almost transparent. So yeah, really, really cool special effects in this movie for sure. And, hell, I would love to see a sequel to this movie, and if you haven't gone to see it yet, if you have seen it, I'm sure you probably, somewhat agree with me, maybe you didn't like it at all, I don't know, everybody's opinion of, movie is different, right, but I would say this movie deserves a sequel, and will probably make enough money for a sequel, for sure, just based on Dwayne Johnson's post on Instagram the other day, I guess yesterday or last night when he was doing his nightly workout, yeah, he said that this movie was already #1 in the box office for this weekend. So that's pretty crazy. Especially when, you got movies like Black Widow out and Snake Eyes. What else is out right now? Space Jam, the second Space Jam. So yeah, it's beating all three of those movies. That's incredible. Now I know Disney obviously has been big for every generation, and obviously for me, because I grew up with Disney movies, so, and they just keep getting better and better with the live action stuff as well, so I can't really complain, that's for sure. So I guess we'll see if this ever is going to get a sequel. It would be nice. Also, another Dwayne Johnson movie that needs a sequel is Jumanji, and that's where I will end this, or I guess the trilogy needs to end, doesn't it now? And that's where I will end this. So like, share, subscribe, comment down below your thoughts on this film if you've seen it. If not, go watch it in theaters or on Disney Plus. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye for now.